Over a dozen people gathered at Myers Park today to protest the sale of the Capital City Country Club. Take a listen.
Listen to our demands. Keep the land in public hands.
Listen to our demands. Keep the land in public hands.
That is the sound of protesters who marched from the park to the golf course, speaking out against the City Commission's December vote to sell the property for just more than $1 million. Protesters expressed concerns that the land includes a cemetery with graves of enslaved people. The rally was organized by the Tallahassee Community Action Committee. One member, Thomas Spears, says he wanted more public input before the city moved forward.
There wasn't enough, and there needs to be more input, not only from the people that live in this area directly, but also from the black community of Tallahassee, because these are the graves of formerly enslaved people. They're also selling the land to a private company when that land was public land. And this should be a resource for all the people of Tallahassee.
Spears says a recently installed historical marker came too late. We previously reported the Capital City Country Club said buying the land would allow them to make improvements, something they say isn't possible while leasing. We did reach out to the City of Tallahassee and the City Commission for comment. Commissioner Jack Porter responded to us saying in part, quote, "I was deeply disappointed to see the city sell such valuable land so cheaply despite strong public opposition with no public benefit, even knowing it contained the unmarked graves of enslaved people, and furthermore reject my motion for additional study," end quote.